Hey everybody, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program to Infinity and Beyond. This is going to be my 10th attempt to basically just not kill all of my Kerbals, but now we have a little bit more of an overarching goal, and I think we're getting fairly close to it. We're getting pretty darn close to being able to crash land on the moon and have all of our Kerbals die, or Kerbins die. I always get that conjugation mixed up, but they're going to die on the moon as opposed to dying on Earth, which is, a great honor, as you know. So, what we are going to do, I think the plan that I had from the last episode is we're going to move... Oh, no, 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 no. All of my beautiful work here has been destroyed. Okay, no, put it back. Put it back. It can go back there. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's grab this and try to fix it so I don't have to rebuild my entire rocket. Fantastic. So this is the rocket that got us to like 800,000 meters. But what we are going to do is just add like a buttload of fuel tanks. Let's start very simply. Can I get this? Like, that's not what I want to do. What is going on here now? That's not right. Okay, that's right. So we're just going to add one more fuel tank right now. The reason that I'm being a little bit hesitant, actually, you know what? Let's add 2 fuel tanks to our last stage of the rocket here. I think that's going to work out better. I was a little bit hesitant to add, as we make it Mark IV here, a little bit hesitant to add more fuel tanks at this stage, although I guess at this stage, I mean, the weight still applies, but because this stage has a lot of problems just like getting back into acceleration as opposed to deceleration. But we'll try this. In addition, why not add some kind of structural element that's cool as well, maybe to give us some aerodynamics. How about a structural wing? And we'll try to line these up appropriately, like lined up in such a way that I don't think it'll imbalance the ship. Like, if we could maybe put them... we can't do that because of the radial decoupler, unfortunately, or the radial coupler. Like, that feels like it's going to cause it to imbalance a little bit, doesn't it? What if we set it up, like, so they were lined up? Of course we can't set it up so they were lined up with the tri-coupler. That would make way too much sense. Whatever. We're going to give it a shot. Let's, we'll set up one like this. Kind of like antipodal to the radial decoupler. And hopefully that'll allow us to not lose too much of our, like, upward momentum. I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm trying to talk about here. Can we add another one, like, right? No, we can't. Okay. Good to know. So, there we go. Surprise, surprise, Mark IV. We'll clear the launch pad and proceed. Notice that, or remember that Surprise Surprise Mark III actually had a fairly prolific run. Is this thing already, like, tilting on the launch pad? What is going on? Yeah, it's already going crazy. Anyway, let's max up our throttle. Get the SAS on. Oh, man, this thing is... I don't think this is going to go well. But here we go. 3, 2, 1. Forgot about that part, too. Oh, awesome. Well, I would say that is substantially worse than our last run. We'll go back to the vehicle assembly building. I think the obvious step 1 here is to get rid of these decouplers. And then what I might actually do, I'm not totally sure if this is going to bork up the whole thing. But if possible, I would love to attach a strut to attach like these engines to one another. I'm not sure how this is going to work in 3D space. The answer is I don't think it is going to work in 3D space. What if we did like one like this? There we go, perfect. I'm going to do the same thing right here, like one right there. I think this is going to make our whole shebang a little bit more stable. I should have symmetry on, but that's okay. Alternatively, you might turn this into like a huge death machine. But here we go. Let's give it a shot. I mean, I'm hoping that it's going to buckle a little bit less on the launch pad. That's step 1. I'm not sure if that's the case, but we have liftoff, sort of. And I am just going to do my damnedest to make sure that this thing stays as straight as possible on its way up. So far, so good, actually. I didn't expect it to go this well. Oh, that's a problem. Not sure what's up with that bend that we've got going on here. That can't be a result of the struts, can it? Well, I think it's pretty clear this one's going to be a disaster as well. Oh, yeah, that's a problem. I think... Here we go. Now, all we gotta do is pilot ourselves to safety here. First things first, we gotta get more acceleration upwards. Gotta get way more acceleration upwards. Okay, we gotta get way more... Oh, alright. Say goodbye to your families. Oh, I probably should have told you that about 3 seconds earlier, huh? Alright. That was another colossal failure. That can't just be because of the fuel tanks, though. Like... Okay, well, maybe it can. Let's remove one fuel tank. Oh, is that possible? Fuck it, let's rebuild the whole thing. So we'll delete that. I think this structure here is okay. I think this will survive. We'll get rid of the winglets because those are a waste of time. Now, how do we want to do this? You know what? Instead of the system that I had before with the rocket engines, although those work really well for getting... Trying to think here. Trying to think. Alright, so we'll stick with a similar system. Let's set our symmetry. I'm going to save the rocket again as Mark IV. We're going to put some fuel tanks in here. What's the weight of this one? 2.5 versus 1.25. And this just has double, I assume. Yeah, okay. What about these weights? Mass 2, mass 2, mass 0.5. Okay, well, what's the difference? Max thrust 200 versus max thrust 50. Well, you know what? Let's give it a try using a similar style than we had before. So let's do this. Oh, this is going to be substantially heavier, but I'm hoping as a result, we won't need as many solid fuel boosters, if that makes any sense at all. Certainly, above all else, I really don't want to do too many more like radial decouplers. Let's drag some of these stack decouplers out here. I mean, we might have to do some radial decouplers, I guess, but that's okay. And we'll put some solid fuel boosters under it. This is basically just to get a feel for whether this is going to be better or worse than what was previously my existing model. So we'll grab this, put this here, grab this, put this here. And like 3 sets of solid fuel boosters might be too much. We just need a little bit of raw power to get off the launch pad so that our engines can really start going to town. Of course, we'll just tie everything together. If I could stop being an idiot and actually get these. There we go. Is that good? Yeah, I think we're attached all the way up there. I really do love the symmetry tool. I wish I had noticed it earlier. I did do the entirety of the tutorial for Kerbal Space Program. So it was either not mentioned in there or I just had like a serious brain fart and missed out. And we'll tie everything up here together with struts too, just to be sure. And I think after that it's okay. So we're going to save this as Mark IV again and give it a try. Am I missing something? I feel like I'm missing something, like I haven't decoupled enough or something. But anyway, we'll crank this throttle up, turn the SAS on, and see if this bad boy can get off the launch pad. It wants to. So we'll just decouple and then start with our next set, which is going to very, very slowly lift off. Whoa! That's not good. Don't crash into the launch. Oh, that is very not good. Well, our Kerbals somehow managed to live in this situation, which is pretty remarkable. So let's go through all the phases of our rocket here. I can't believe they lived. This guy, Barney, seems kind of psyched about it, to be honest with you. Okay, we'll end the flight. Yeah, that went pretty badly as well. And what we're going to do here, just take off a set of solid fuel boosters. I don't think this is going to give us nearly enough power to get to where I want to go. But we'll launch it. We'll give it a try. Yeah, definitely clear the launch pad. There's like 3 dead men there. I seriously can't believe they lived. All right, so let's try this again. I find it somewhat encouraging that it sort of looks more like a real rocket launch. But I find it incredibly discouraging that we might not even clear the launch pad without hitting something. Okay, well, we've lived longer than we did last time, at least. And I don't think we have too much of a roll right now. We are, leaning kind of substantially. And I think it's probably a long shot to say that we're going to beat our previous best, but we're making some progress, I guess. It's better than last time, and the time before that. And I guess where we're really going to see if this has the ability to shine is once we get into these jet engines. So hopefully we won't crash down to Earth before the jet engines gain the ability to give us upward acceleration. We'll see. Oh, wow, definitely not. Now that worked way, way better. In fact, one thing that might work fantastically is just going with the Mark III rocket and replacing the engines with the more powerful engines, because these are causing me to accelerate like crazy. Like, this is actually kind of awesome. Even if I am way out of the way of the mun right now. But we do seem to be burning fuel with these a little bit faster, which I guess makes sense. Because we are, you know, like, we got quadruple the thrust. But I think we can safely add more and more fuel tanks to this situation. Like, we could add, like, double the fuel tanks here, and maybe extra fuel tanks on top as well. We'll see. But for now, I think it's pretty clear that we are going to reach probably a new high in terms of acceleration, if nothing else. Or in terms of velocity, I should say. But that's encouraging that my Kerbals didn't die on the launch pad. Either time, really, but I guess it's better when the rocket doesn't explode either. Decouple there. And we are... Okay, so we can't add any more fuel tanks here. In fact, we should probably take some fuel tanks away here. In order to ensure that, you know, this thing actually has the ability to continue to accelerate forwards, because we're not nearly traveling at a speed that we need to be in order to work here. But it's okay. You know, you live, you learn. We'll increase our acceleration a little bit. Or, sorry, increase our, like, our time warp so that we can eventually figure out where the hell this thing is going to reach an equilibrium and then start pushing us forwards faster and faster again. Hopefully sometime soon, although we are still climbing. I mean, you know, 36,000, that used to be fairly good for me in Kerbal Space Program. Now it is absolutely horrible, but it's, I guess, not as discouraging as it could possibly be. And we're going to get way higher than that, of course, anyway. But I think 800,000 is probably out of the question. Sadly, and that's okay. So I think our main thing we want to change here is more fuel tanks under the... more fuel tanks under the... Or just the feeding into that second set of rocket engines. Or liquid fuel engines from before. Because they can definitely handle it. But we are still decelerating here, which is discouraging. So I definitely just got too much weight on the top here. I wonder if I could just get rid of the SAS module, if that's what people were talking about. Where they were like, you don't really need your SAS module up there with your... Oh god, I turned SAS off at the worst possible time. Okay, well, we're basically just like a cruise missile now. Where's the mun, anyway? Are we pointing vaguely towards it? Sort of. We are about to run out of fuel. I think we can pretty much just, like, call this one off. Let's decouple. Speed up as fast as we can. Oh, we can't because we're still in the atmosphere. Shake off the... There you go. You got it. You got it. Now we'll just plummet back down to Earth. Watch out for the jet fuel. Yeah, so we can end this run, I think. And we'll do one more flight here. Just because I think I'm on the verge of something better than what we've just had. But that one was definitely a success compared to the ones that we had before. So we'll move this down. And we will stack up some extra fuel tanks here. In fact, what's the dry mass here? 0.3 versus 0.2. I think it's more efficient for us. You know, barely. Turn our symmetry on. To stack up like maybe 3 of these. Although liftoff is going to be pretty difficult. We'll save this as our final version of Mark IV. We'll move on to Mark V for the next video. This might be a little bit longer of a Kerbal Space Program video than usual, but that's fine by me because I feel like, you know, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, and we are breaking a lot of eggs in this video. So we'll see. I guess step 1 is going to be, can this thing even get off the launch pad? And if not, what do we do about that? It's already shaking pretty crazily. Launch pad thing looks like it's going to be kind of a problem. Let's disembark and then try. Okay, so we need to get rid of 1 set of solid fuel boosters if we're going to make this system work. That's pretty bad for business. Looks like Whoopi Goldberg's hair. Okay, so our Kerbals lived again, which I find amazing. Just do all our decoupling here. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty remarkable that they survived. So we'll do one more flight. And of course, on this flight, what we are going to do is remove our bottom set of solid fuel boosters. So if this doesn't work, I think I'm going to go back to the Mark III prototype, and I'm just going to add on these engines and bigger fuel tanks. But anyway, we'll see. This is what I mean about the experimentation element of the game. We'll see if this works this time. So we'll crank the throttle up, SAS on, and take off very, very slowly. But just don't crash into the launch pad. Oh, come on. You had one job. They're not going to live this. Ooh, definitely not going to live this time. Feel bad for that water tower, too. I got to give this one more try. I think I just want to, like, restart the flight and... I don't know, can we, like, rotate it on the launch pad so it flies off in the other direction this time? Crank this throttle up. And I'm just going to hammer down... Oh, I decoupled by accident. End flight, restart flight. I'm sorry, I may have robbed you there of what would have been a hilarious crash. But there was no way that was going to work. So let's throttle up. Once the thing actually loads in here, eventually, there we go. Throttle up, take off, and I am just gonna hold basically D so that we don't fall into the launch pad. Awesome. Okay. May or may not be awesome, but I feel like it's awesome right now. So I got SAS on, finally. And it's another semi-successful run. I mean, at least we didn't die on the launch pad. Now we're already onto the jet engines. So now we'll see how long these fuel tanks last, and we'll see how much acceleration we can get out of them. I mean, it certainly seems like we've gotten... Normally, like, at this point, we are not... Like, at this altitude, we are not at this acceleration, I feel. So we'll see how things go. It's possible that the Mark IV design isn't as terrible as I think it is, but it's also possible that it is exactly as terrible as I think it is, which is... pretty horrible. But so far so good. Engines are starting to overheat, which is not so good. But hopefully that's just a false alarm and they maintain relatively low or safe levels of their temperatures. But I do worry about that a little bit. But I think we're going to be okay. Again, this is already a borderline successful run by my first episode standards. But we're not on the first episode anymore, are we? I'm hoping that perhaps we can get... Oh man, I didn't take any extra fuel tanks off of the top. I am an idiot, but we'll still see if we can make any progress here. Okay, still going strong. Sort of. I think maybe we'll be able to reach like... maybe 600 meters per second acceleration, which is pretty good for... At least by my standards, pretty good for this relatively low altitude. As you can see, the ground is quickly moving away, becoming a pale green and blue marble. It's just so beautiful. And of course, the more fuel we lose, I mean, the faster we're going to accelerate. So maybe 600 was a little bit pessimistic. Maybe we'll reach even like 900? That might be overly optimistic, but it seems like that's possible. In fact, maybe 900 was pessimistic. Let's shoot for 1,000 now, but I think it's pretty clear that maybe we could even end up in like the 1,500 range. I don't know. Offhand, I don't know the proportional relationship between acceleration and mass. But, you know, it's been a while since 12th grade physics. But our altitude is strong. So we took off there. I think it's inevitable that we are going to decelerate pretty substantially here. But we'll still see how high our altitude can go. And we're not decelerating that rapidly. Like, we're losing 1 meter per second. But we're still climbing reasonably quickly here. I want to see how long these fuel tanks last. I think this would go better for us if maybe I removed a couple of fuel tanks, or alternatively I could replace this engine with the more powerful engine, I guess, and see how that works. In fact, that might be the first change that I make for the next video, but we're pretty easily, in fact, our acceleration or deceleration is slowing down a little bit here, which is great. We're going to cross 100,000 meters for sure, which is kind of like an unofficial barometric for reasonably successful runs, from me anyway. And yeah, I think this is going to... Overall, I mean, it took a long time to get there, but in the end, we came up with some positive elements, I would say. So we're going to warp a little bit faster. We're about 1/4 out of our little remaining jet fuel. I don't think there's any risk of us setting a new record in terms of altitude here, unless we start accelerating a little bit faster. Because we actually are starting to accelerate a little bit faster now, which is something that I did not expect. Is it possible that perhaps we will reach a new metric here? I mean, there's no chance of us hitting the mun, because I mishit it. There, it's way over there. Should probably start doing like a roll or something. But I'm just happy to, you know, be kind of still in the running for having a good run here. So let's... I'm going to turn off... Actually, you know I'm not going to turn off SAS. I'm going to leave SAS on just for now. I'm just going to shoot for altitude this time. We can shoot for direction next time. Although I am, like, you know, probably millions of kilometers... Well, maybe not millions of kilometers, but certainly millions of meters away from the Mun right now. We'll just see how high we can get. And we're still accelerating, which is awesome. But I think this would be better if we just, like, kept this current... Like, kept this the way it was. Except maybe, like, change these into 2 of the big fuel tanks instead of the small fuel tanks. And then turn this into the more powerful engine. Liftoff, again, is probably going to be a little bit shakier. But I think in the long run, that is going to work out well for us. So we're going to stop accelerating soon because we're going to be out of fuel. But other than that... Oh, no, never mind. We have... Oh, right, we have 4 fuel tanks. Dude, I think we are going to set a new record here in terms of altitude. Which is something that I did not expect. But that's good. So I guess the real question now is whether I would want to... I wonder if we can hit 1 million. Would be whether I would even want to add a more powerful engine. Because I'd be sacrificing, like, fuel duration for fuel, I guess, efficiency. Nah, sort of. It's not really efficiency, I guess, but just for, like, length of the burn, I guess. But anyway, you know, be proud, Jerry, Gustavus, and Barney Kerman. I like that guy. He's always there with his game face on. Be proud. I think you're going to be the most successful Kerbal astronauts in history. Almost certainly gonna surpass the highest altitude that I've had before. But I can't help but feel like I should be going faster than, like, basically 2 kilometers per second. Like, is it unreasonable for me to want, like, 20 kilometers per second? I feel like that would not only speed up this process, but also, you know, give me a better chance. And of course, we're just going to keep accelerating faster and faster as our fuel runs out here. Jerry, get over it, man. Looks like he just crapped his pants. So let's take predictions. You know, final altitude, I don't know. We could even get to like 3 or 4 million meters up in the air. In terms of final speed, maybe 4,000? That might be a little bit optimistic. Okay, let's say 3.4 thousand, so 3,400 meters per second. I still think altitude is going to be in like 2 to 3 million range, maybe even higher than that, but we'll see. Because of course we are going to start decelerating soon. Where is the... Oh man, planet is just a pale blue dot. Doesn't even cover the screen anymore. So I would consider this, against all odds, basically, to be the most successful run that we've had so far. So this is our last fuel tank. We'll decouple, and then we'll just crank this speed up as high as we can go. Oh my god. Oh, it's the Mun! We've surpassed it! Goodbye, Mun! I'm so sorry. Is it possible we could have hit it there? I have no idea, but maybe we can catch it on the pass. I guess it's possible that we're like in its gravity now? No, I think we are just getting sucked back down to Kerbal right now, actually. But obviously, like, the Mun is going to have gravity. So we're... Whoa, what... okay, we're descending rapidly here. I think there might be... If I could just swing myself a little bit. There might be a chance if I could, like, stop warping so fast. Maybe there would be a chance for me to, like, alter our course so we landed on the Mun. No, I think I would need, like, an engine for that. Anyway, let's just speed it up. We're traveling 10,000 times faster than normal. We're just, like, our altitude is barely changing. But anyway. Actually, no, I guess that's changing a lot because of the scale. And we're traveling at, like, 9,000 meters per second. We're basically just drifting in space for eternity, I guess. I have totally lost where the heck we're supposed to be. The astronauts are still into it, which is cool, but I think it's pretty much time to end this flight. Sorry to say. So let's just check out our stats here. We got 14 million kilometers, or sorry, 14 million meters. We were going 9 kilometers a second at some point. That's pretty crazy. Most G-force endured was only 1.3 Gs, which is not what I expected. But hey, I I think this is a pretty successful run. We're gonna stick with what we got here. And, you know, very brief changes to make in the next part. I think we're gonna need better engine here and maybe some aerodynamics, although that always seems to turn out badly for me. But in any case, as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.